now all of a sudden, oh, I'm not the daddy. Well, who's the daddy? Jesus? Because I didn't sleep with nobody else.
Away toward a child that I don't think is mine.
Obviously, I let you me.
I'm done. And so if you say you don't regret it and that's the best thing that ever happened, your daughter came of it, why do you question your daughter's father?
He wasn't the only one I was sleeping with in order for me to get pregnant, to be with him.
So that's the reason why I did what I did. So yes, I say he might not, but I know he's the father of Ja'Cory Hudson.
You said that's why I did what I did. What did you do?
Cheated on him.
You won't believe this opener. Mr. Jennings reveals he raised his daughter Taylor for a whopping 26 years, never batting an eye about paternity, but now he's all riled up because his ex-wife claims he's not the biological father. He vents out loud in court, throwing his arms around in frustration while explaining the soap opera level drama. The judge nods sagely, raising the tension to daytime Emmy levels. Get ready, the roller coaster is just starting.
Mr. Jennings, after raising your daughter Taylor for 26 years, from diapers to adulthood, and never doubting the paternity of your little girl, you are furious that you had to drag your ex-wife to court because she is now claiming you are not her daughter's biological father.
Now here comes a twist. Ms. Lynn throws a curveball, admitting that while her ex-husband was led to believe he's Taylor's father, the truth is he might just be the dad in spirit, but not by DNA. She spills the beans that the whole can of worms was opened by Taylor's stepmother, setting off a chain reaction of emotional fireworks from all parties involved. Buckle up, because the next part is a doozy.
Ms. Lynn, you admit your ex-husband believes Taylor's father, claim your daughter deserves the truth, and the fact is her daddy is not her biological father. What do you believe is the real reason Ms. Lynn is now saying aren't father?
Just out of spite, jealousy.
Are you spiteful, Ms. Lynn?
No, first and foremost, if I was spiteful, I wouldn't be standing here right now. My daughter asked me to be here.
You'll need popcorn for this. Mr. Jennings passionately recounts his undoubted belief in his paternity, highlighting his hands-on involvement from diapers to diplomas. He talks about his father-daughter dances and the tears at her graduation, firmly believing he is the dad. As he pounds his chest in conviction, you can't help but feel the room draw in a collective breath. Just wait until you hear what's next. It's a real head-turner.
I've heard it over the years, and all Taylor talks to me. I've been there for her all her life. I'd do a DNA test at any time.
All of these years, you say 26 years, this has been your baby girl. Diapers, you've done whatever a father, you love her. You've never had a doubt.
I've never had a doubt.
Hold on to your seats, folks. Ms. Lynn reveals their teenage plot thickens with a twist worthy of a telenovela, getting pregnant to ensure they could get hitched. She confesses to juggling suitors to make sure the pregnancy happens, shocking the court and probably a couple of viewers at home. The plot thickens from here, folks. More gasps to follow.
You tried to get pregnant on purpose by
Yes,
Mr.
ma'am, I did.
You wanted to marry that
Yes,
bad.
ma'am, I did, and I don't regret it, and I do it again because my daughter came from that, and that's the best thing that ever happened to me.
And so if you say you don't regret it and that's the best thing that ever happened, your daughter came of it, why do you question your daughter's father?
He wasn't the only one I was sleeping with in order for me to get pregnant, to be with him.
If you thought that was wild, listen to this. The plot zigzags as they discuss their wild run to another state for a loophole wedding, revealing Ms. Lynn's multitasking romantic life. The courtroom gasps, Mr. Jennings' jaw drops, and even the judge can't help but look surprised. The next chapter in this saga is just around the corner, and it's even juicier.
I wanted to marry him that badly.
This was agreed upon?
It was something that he was well aware of. And
Mr. Jennings, were you aware of this?
I know nothing about nobody else.
You submitted a timeline. I want to
Yes, I
understand.
did.
Please step up, explain this timeline.
We got together. Parents prohibited us being together, so we leave and we go out of state.
This is where it gets spicy. The duo reminisce about the good old days, plotting teenage love against parental advice, all to tie the knot. They share their whirlwind of decisions, from pregnancy tests to courthouse vows, painting a picture of young love against all odds. But hold on to your gavels. There's more melodrama ahead.
She was pregnant. We got everything. Went to Carrollton Courthouse, got married. February 14th, Taylor was born.
Did you discover she was pregnant in Georgia, or did you discover she was pregnant on the mountain?
I think we was back in Georgia when we found out.
we were in Georgia when I found out I was pregnant.
You were in Georgia when you found out you were pregnant. Came back to Georgia, you were pregnant June 1990. Then you all were able to get married.
Yes.
Can this get any more tangled? Just when you think you've seen it all, Ms. Lynn drops another bombshell. There might be another daddy candidate, courtesy of her love triangle antics. The courtroom's buzzing like a beehive after this revelation, and Mr. Jennings looks like he's about to fall off his chair. Keep your eyes peeled, because because what comes next is even more startling.
One of the potential fathers, we sat down with him and discussed having a DNA test done then, but it was never done. He can't say he did not know.
Do you remember that conversation, Mr. Jennings?
Yes, but as far as knowing she was trying to get pregnant, I know nothing about that. If I'd have known she'd been sleeping with anybody else, I might not even have known, Taylor, that she's gonna sleep with somebody else and get pregnant to marry me.
This part's a tearjerker with a side of drama. Taylor recounts the shattering moment at 13 when she hears the possibility that her dad might not be her dad. She dives into her detective work, tracing her mom's old flames on social media to unearth who might be her real dad, turning her life into a real-life mystery novel. And guess what? The emotional roller coaster is far from over. Next up is the climax you've been waiting for.
And Taylor, this has always been daddy to you. This is your daddy.
Yes, Your Honor.
And so at 13, you heard the words come out of your mother's mouth that Mr. Jennings was not your biological father.
I felt my whole life was a lie. Like my whole life was like to my dad and my stepmom, because that's where I was dropped off at. So of course they comforted me. My aunt was like, I was around when your mom got pregnant, so he is your dad, my aunt.
And now, the moment of truth. Hold on to your heartstrings. The DNA results come in.
It has been determined by this court. Jennings, you are not the father. I know this was not the news you wanted.
Mr. Hatton steps up with a zinger, flatly denying he's the dad of little Azalyn, pointing fingers at Ms. Schwartz's husband instead. This bold claim throws everyone for a loop and sets the stage for the drama that's about to unfold. As Mr. Hatton accuses the plaintiff's husband of being the real father, the audience can't help but gasp. The tension in the room spikes, turning the courtroom into a theater of suspense and scandal.
You claim you are not Azalyn and are certain that her biological father is another man, and that man is the plaintiff's husband.
Yes, Your Honor.
Additionally, you petitioned the court for a polygraph test on Ms. Schwartz to determine the extent of her alleged affairs.
Mr. Hatton doesn't hold back, questioning Ms. Schwartz's honesty and throwing shade about her financial explanations, which he thinks don't make a lick of sense. This opens a can of worms about trust and betrayal that's tangled their lives.
I have reason to believe that she's not at work like she's saying she is. Who makes almost $11 an hour, paid every 2 weeks, and only brings home $100? I was born at night, just not last night.
Oh, okay.
Don't believe I'm the dad. I do question the way that she lives her life. Being in a relationship with a dude, have an argument, jump into bed with the next man. That's how I feel.
Mrs. Schwartz lays her heart on the line, sharing how painful it is that Mr. Hatton denies their daughter, shedding light on the emotional toll it's taking on their family, especially little Azalyn. This moment pulls at the heartstrings, showing the deep personal stakes involved.
What does it feel like denying child?
It hurts. It really does hurt. We have 2 other children together, and he fathers them, but little Azalyn is left out.
And you can feel that
I
difference.
feel my daughter's pain whenever she looks up at him. He'll be there with her while I'm at work, things like that, and other family members are taking care of my child, and he wants nothing to do with her.
Amidst vulnerability, Ms. Schwartz talks about how left out Azalyn feels because of Mr. Hatton's denial. It's a moment that makes you want to reach out and hug them. The stakes are high, and the room is full of raw emotion.
That I was having a little girl. He was there for everything. Now all of a sudden, oh, I'm not the daddy. Well, who's the daddy? Jesus? Because I didn't sleep with nobody else.
No, I can
and
tell
I
you
don't
who the
have
daddy is, Mark.
a book telling me who I
Let me
sleep
tell you
with. I don't
something.
write down that, and I know who I sleep.
How can I feel any type of way toward a child that I don't think is mine? I'm sorry, I'm not.
Well,
made that
obviously I let you me.
I'm done. I'm going to act like we didn't hear that.
Mr. Schwartz walks into the courtroom, ready to drop some serious tea about the whole messy triangle. His testimony adds a whole new layer of complexity to the case, bringing more backstories and secrets into the open.
Mr. Schwartz, thank you for being here today.
You're welcome, ma'am.
Tell the court about your relationship with...
Well, she cheated on me with Mr. Hatton and multiple others.
How did you first find out about Mr. Hatton?
She told me she was cheating on me, and I let her go.
In a climactic revelation, the DNA results are in.
It has been determined by this court. The biological father is Mr. Hatton.
Get ready for some real courtroom drama. Mr. Campbell is stepping into the spotlight in paternity court today, making waves as he tries to prove that 3-year-old Zoe is indeed his daughter. He's all in, claiming Miss Hopper flipped her story on him. He's pushing for a DNA test to confirm his role and dive headfirst into fatherhood. Let's see how this unfolds. Spoiler alert, it's going to get juicy.
Mr. Campbell, you are in paternity court today to prove that the defendant's 3-year-old daughter, Zoe, is your child. You claim that her mother, Miss Hopper, told you that you were her father, but now she's changed changed her story. You want the DNA test to prove what no, so you can be a father to your little girl.
Hold on to your coffee because here comes a twist. Miss Hopper throws a curveball by admitting there was a chance Mr. Campbell could be the daddy, but says she only mentioned it after Zoe was already cooing and crawling at 6 months old. She spills the tea that Zoe started calling him daddy, all on her own, which definitely thickens the plot. Meanwhile, her ex, another potential dad, seems to be more of a guest star in Zoe's life. Buckle up, the next revelation is a doozy.
Now we're currently stuck on not the father. So, Miss Hopper?
I only told him there was a possibility. I've never told him that he was the father.
That's not true at all.
That is true. He knew that it was between him and my ex-boyfriend since she was like 6 months old.
No, at first, she told me not to worry that it wasn't my daughter.
But it was not.
Yes, that's when she was pregnant.
Just when you think it couldn't get more tangled, the judge is now dissecting Miss Hopper's flip-flopping tales about who the real daddy might be. It's a real head-scratcher as Zoe seems to think Mr. Campbell is her dad, thanks to her calling him daddy. What's coming next? Let's just say, keep your popcorn at the ready, because the drama level is about to skyrocket.
I want to understand flip-flopping in terms of paternity. You told Mr. Campbell, don't worry, then you said she is yours. Then you're saying now she's not his. Zoe calls him daddy.
When she was younger, when she was about 6 months old, she did look a lot like him. She had a lot of she had really big cheeks, she was really chunky, so she did have a lot of features of him.
You might want to sit down for this one. In a surprising turn of events, Mr. Campbell admits he previously dodged a DNA test. He's now ready to face the music, reflecting on his past reluctance and claiming he's matured enough to handle whatever truth comes out of this courtroom circus. And trust me, you'll want to stick around for what's next. It's a real cliffhanger.
Did you refuse the DNA test, Mr. Campbell?
Yes.
So why bring her to court today? I mean, refuse the test?
I'm just really ready to find out or not. I wasn't in the right state of mind. Yeah, and I wasn't matured enough.
Your Honor, the only time that I ever heard from her was right before the birthdays and right before Christmas. And that's the only time that she would even try to contact. Communication going back and forth. She would even send me pictures of Zoe, with the birthday presents and stuff.
The moment of truth is here, folks. The air is thick with anticipation as the DNA results are about to be disclosed.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Campbell, you are not the father. I'm sorry. I know you really wanted to be her dad.
The court session kicks off with Judge Lake throwing the spotlight on the case of Hudson versus Bridges. Mr. Hudson is in the hot seat, doubting he's the biological father of Jack Corey, while Ms. Bridges insists he's the only daddy Jack Corey has ever known. It's starting to heat up in here. Buckle up for a wild ride.
Mr. Hudson claimed the defendant led you to believe you were her son, Jack Corey's biological father, then dropped a bomb and admitted she slept with someone else. You're in court to prove you are not her son's father.
Right out of the gate, Mr. Hudson breaks down why he initially believed he was the dad. Living with Ms. Bridges when she got pregnant had him convinced. He didn't just stand by, he was all in, right down to signing the birth certificate. Just when you think it's a straightforward case, hold on to your seats. Things are about to get twisty.
Well, Your Honor, I was led to believe that I was Corey's father because at the time that we were living together, it's the time that she became pregnant with the child. We were together for approximately about 5 years, Your Honor.
You all lived together?
Yes, ma'am.
You had a relationship?
Yes, Your
So
Honor.
you thought this baby was yours?
Yes, Your Honor. I was at the hospital. I took her to doctor's appointment. I was there. I cut the umbilical cord, Your Honor.
Out of nowhere, Mr. Hudson drops a bombshell about a pre-birthday party confession from Ms. Bridges, hinting at another potential dad. The plot thickens dramatically, turning the courtroom vibe on its head. The next part is a doozy. Get ready for some courtroom fireworks.
Did the baby come? Did he get to come?
Yes, Your Honor. I had him there myself.
Okay, so you brought him there yourself. And so, Mr. Hudson, you say this bomb she dropped. When did she drop this bomb?
We had an argument. That's when she came and she was telling me how I might not be the father and she had done these things. But I paid no attention to them because I am the father. I'm supposed to be the father. I'm here.
In the midst of a heated argument, Ms. Bridges spills the beans, admitting there's a chance Mr. Hudson might not be the father after all. This confession flips the script completely. As the plot thickens, make sure you're sitting down for the next revelation.
He was cheating on me back then, so that's the reason why I did what I did. So yes, I said he might not, but I know he's the father of Jacory.
You said that's why I did what I did. What did you do?
Cheated on him.
Was it during the window of conception?
No, it was the time when I went away and I came back and I was on the social network. So much stuff going on.
Post-confession, things go south fast. Mr. Hudson finds himself on the outside looking in, cut off from Jacory's life and tangled in a web of doubt about his role as a father. The tension is mounting, and you won't believe who steps up next.
is happening with the relationship? Are you in Ja'Cory's life?
Oh, yeah.
Not at this moment.
And what changed that?
I have no way of getting in contact with him. I can't talk to him. I can't see him.
He knows my auntie number. I gave it to him plenty of times. You just making things up just not to be in the baby's life.
So is it inability to get in contact with really what's holding you back, or is it the fact that you don't truly know?
That we don't know, Your Honor.
Mr. Davis's introduction. Enter Mr. Davis, swaggering into court with a claim that could flip the entire case on its head. He thinks he might be Ja'Cory's real dad. The suspense is building. Keep your eyes peeled for the next twist.
Mr. Davis, thank you for joining us today. You're here discussing the paternity as it relates to Ja'Cory, and I want to ask, do you believe you're Ja'Cory's biological father?
I do. You know, we hung out for a couple of months. Ended up having unprotected sex around about 3 times. I didn't know that she was pregnant. I looked on Facebook one day, like a year later, I see a picture of her son. Immediately, I think her son looks like my nephew.
Ms. Bridges can't seem to make up her mind. First sure about Mr. Hudson, then throwing Mr. Davis into the mix as a potential dad. The courtroom's buzzing with tension, and just when you think you've seen it all, the next testimony changes everything.
You did tell him he potentially could be Corey's father.
Yes, Your Honor.
But you testified earlier that you said you know.
I know for sure it's Mr. Hudson.
But if you know that for sure, then what was the point of coming to me and saying anything at all?
I was just adding up the dates. He said it was wrong.
Okay, but then you came right back
I came to you.
When I asked you why you asked the second time, you're like, it's because I think you might be his father.
Extended family's role. Ms. Dollar Eggs steps into the fray, shining a light on the real MVP in this drama. Herself, stepping in to fill the dad-shaped hole in Ja'Cory's life. Her testimony is heartfelt and raw, setting the stage for a dramatic DNA reveal.
My niece needs a reality check, Your Honor. This is not a joke. I need for my niece to get not only with her education, with her life and her children, period, Your Honor.
Who do you believe is the father? Do you have a belief one way or the other?
Honestly, Your Honor, I would go for it more towards Mr. Davis.
Hold your breath, folks. DNA results are in. And the envelope, please. Boom.
When it comes to 3-year-old Ja'Cory Hudson, Mr. Davis, you are not his father.